Hi, I'm Kirby.
I'm Dana.
And we are
Migratory Nerds. It's time for our latest adventure. Let's get exploring.
All right, we're back for another Orlando Informer meetup, which is the only way we do the parks.
Correct.
Because there's less lines.
Yep.
And the food is included. Let's go. First stop was obviously Starbucks. The meetup, hosted by Orlando Informer, is an after-hours event at the parks with limited capacity, so there are less people, shorter waits, and then the food and non-alcoholic beverages are included. We had access to the park starting at 5 p.m. and then it closed to regular guests at 8 p.m. and was open until 1:30 a.m. for us. We checked in around 4:30 p.m. There was a small line, but we waited no more than 10 or 15 minutes. New to us this year were check-in bites, which were food stations after we checked in that allowed you to grab some food and soft drinks before the park closed to regular guests and the unlimited included food started.
I met her at the pale horse leg. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Our access to the parks began at 5 p.m., so we headed over to the studio side to check out the holiday pop-up tribute store. We haven't been to the park since the new DreamWorks area opened, so we headed there next to check it out. The Troller Coaster is a kid's coaster like Flight of the Hippogriff or Barnstormer at Disney. I'm not sure it's worth a 20-minute wait for us, but we hadn't done it, so it was worth checking out. No visit to Universal Studios is complete without a ride on E.T. Alright, nerdy fact of the video. E.T. the ride is based on the movie E.T. It opened with the park in June of 1990, and it is the only opening day attraction still standing. And it's the only version of this ride that now still exists across all of the Universal parks across the world.
People, our planet could die. I'm the one we call E.T. Bring him home to the green planet. His friend, deeply moved, needs a healing touch.
The lines around the park were still pretty hefty since it was open still for regular guests, so we headed over to VillainCon as I hadn't done that before. We caught a few minutes of Sensational, their nighttime lagoon show, but it was too windy for the fireworks. Or I think there's also drones in this show, so all we had was the water, mist, and music effects. And the park is officially closed to regular guests. Usually the included food doesn't start until an hour after, but there are 2 places at each park where it started right at 8 p.m. So there was a small line at Richter's at 8:20 or so when we got in line, because it's one of the 2 places here that's open with food for the meetup starting at 8, but that line moved super quick and efficient. So now we're off to ride some rides now that there's no lines.
Relinquish what remains of the Allspark, or suffer the wrath of Megatron.
It was 45 minutes earlier, and now it's a walk-on. The Mummy had over an hour wait during the day when we looked. When we got in the park, the posted wait was 20 minutes, and it was about a 5-minute wait. Gotta love a meetup. You never know who you might find walking around a meetup. Alright, the warm bread pudding with whiskey sauce at Finnegan's is one of my favorite meetup foods. So we did that, and we've checked off most of our list of over here because Men in Black is closed for refurb. So I think we're heading over to Diagon Alley area to do some Harry Pottering, and then we're going to take the train over to the other side. So far there 2 food places we went had a small line, but we didn't wait more than 5 minutes. The line moved super quick. Today, Gringotts had over an hour wait, and the Hogwarts Express on this side had over an hour wait. And now both say ride now, but we're stopped for some ice cream first and probably some butterbeer. Usually the ice cream has a super long line, and there was like no wait. If you ever wondered whether a meetup was worth it, just look at how empty Diagon Alley is. In case you needed more evidence to do a meetup, we are the only ones, oh boy, in this Gringotts elevator. We waited 15 minutes for the Hogwarts Express from King's Cross Station. During the day when it was open, it was a 65-minute wait at least. Alright, we ended up waiting about 65 minutes for Hagrid's, which was the posted wait time when we got in line. During the day when the park was open to regular guests, it was like 135, 165 minutes. So while it is the longest we've waited for Hagrid's at a meetup, it was still significantly shorter than if we had waited during the day. All right, we were in the front row of Hagrid's for the first time in any of the times we've ridden it.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to do from now on.
It was awesome.
It was so cool. We've officially hit the time of night where some of the larger outdoor rides are now closed due to the noise ordinance, so it's time to eat some more food. And yes, I am double fisting churros. Spider-Man was a walk-on. Look, there's like literally no other people where we are. When does that happen at a theme park? Kong, also a walk-on. Jurassic Park River Adventure, you guessed it, a walk-on. Literally just us. The meetup has officially ended. It's 1:29 a.m. and we are making our way back to the car. This is a time lapse of our walk out of the park from Jurassic Park River Adventure. We didn't see another guest until we hit Marvel Superhero Island. Alright, final thoughts on this year's winter meetup.
I don't think we were as successful in this meetup
As we have been in previous meetups. It felt busier. Busier?
It felt shorter.
It felt shorter, yes. And so the park closed to regular guests at 8.
Mm-hmm.
But the big rides, mainly Hagrid's and Velocicoaster, need to be clear of guests by midnight. That's a noise ordinance thing from Universal. That's not anything to do with the meetup, but
which means that sometimes the line gets cut at like 11 o'clock.
So Hagrid's had an hour wait, so the line closed at 11. Velocicoaster had a 45-minute wait, so the line closed at 11:15. So that's a very short amount of time to get the big rides done and get all the food done. It just felt very compressed.
Yeah.
This year for us.
Saying that though, comparatively, if we had been at the park during the day for 5 hours, we wouldn't have gotten nearly as many things in, and we wouldn't have eaten for included.
Yeah. So, I mean, we really like the meetups. We also have found that this is at least our 4th one. That Orlando Informer is very great at, like, you know how companies take surveys and then you're like, why did I fill this out? They didn't do anything about it. That is not Orlando Informer. We've actively seen them take feedback and make positive changes. So we will definitely do another meetup. But I think personally for us, we wouldn't do a single night meetup where the park closed at 8 p.m. to regular guests. Again, we would either do usually Friday nights of the meetups, the park closes a little earlier at 7, or we would do 2 nights. But I think we just felt like we didn't get as much bang for our buck as we normally do, but we still did way more, as Dana said, than we would have had the park been closed, or had we gone during a regular park day, because Hagrid's was like a 2-hour wait. 2+ hour wait during, so was Velocicoaster.
165, I think, at one point when we were there in the afternoon.
So, still a great option for lower wait times. The food's included. It's a great experience. We'll definitely do it again, but I think personally we either need to do 2 nights because we're spoiled with the 2-night, or we'll do one where the park closes a little earlier.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, I'm Kirby.
I'm Dana.
And we are
Migratory Nerds.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get notified when all of our new videos drop.
Bye.